Star Wars 7x7, episode 2253. Today we're going to talk about rumors, and not because I've been listening to Fleetwood Mac a lot, but we'll get to that. Punch it. Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Boyvon, and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. No more Fleetwood Mac talk. I'll move on from that stuff, but we are going to talk about rumors and Star Wars, and in particular, The Mandalorian, because we just got a release date for The Mandalorian, and not a trailer, just one piece of key art, as they call it, and it's very evocative of the first season key art of The Mandalorian, except now Baby Yoda is walking alongside The Mandalorian. Isn't that lovely? But here's the thing. And I'm going to say this, and hopefully I am not going to drive you crazy, because I've said this a couple of times on the show before, but Star Wars Celebration was supposed to happen this past weekend. There's every reason to think, just by logic, not by any rumors, leaks, spoilers, anything like that, just by sheer logic, that had Celebration Anaheim actually happened, that there would have been a trailer for The Mandalorian Season 2 that would have debuted at Celebration, right? It's just plain logical, based on the past experience of Celebration after Celebration. This is what they do. And so when Celebration itself doesn't happen, but we know that that had to have been a target at which they were aiming at some point, there's kind of every reason to think that we would have gotten the trailer sometime during that, Thursday, Friday that Celebration would have been. And obviously that didn't turn out to be the case. Well, there was a thing kicking around recently that, escaped my radar until today. And it was somebody suggesting that the trailer was supposed to be prepared for the NBA playoffs, and that it was suddenly pulled at the last minute, and maybe there's something going on behind the scenes about that. Well, for a start, let me just say on my own that unless the NBA playoffs are happening on ABC, which I don't think they are, then no, they would not have been on the NBA playoffs, because every time, with the exception, I think, of Solo: A Star Wars Story, which had a trailer during the Super Bowl, every time there has been a trailer drop of any kind, it has been on a Disney-owned television station. So NBA is usually on TBS and TNT. Yes, it eventually gets to ABC, but yeah, we're not that far in the NBA playoffs yet. So yeah, there's no reason to think that that would have been the case. Anyway, Peter Sciretta of Slash Film had a long Twitter thread yesterday and talked about how it seemed rather absurd from a different point of view about this idea that it was pulled at the last minute, and said, do you think that giant, multimedia, multinational, multi-billion-dollar conglomerates ever do something like that? No, they have their marketing plans meticulously laid out, and down to the last minute, like that they are very precise about when they're doing what they're doing. And he basically kind of threw some folks under the bus, and a very specific subset of folks that deal in rumors and leaks and spoilers and that sort of thing, who say words to the effect of, I told you it was going to be like this and it wasn't, and that's because there's all this drama happening, and subscribe to my YouTube channel because, I'll tell you more about the drama, or something like that. Like, that's the kind of outlet that Peter Sciretta was taking to task as a result. I did kind of gut check myself to think, well, have I done stuff like that? I mean, I don't think so. I don't think I've said, oh, there must be something terrible going on behind the scenes of Lucasfilm, or claimed that I actually knew that something was going on behind the scenes at Lucasfilm as a result of the fact that we didn't get this Mandalorian trailer at the 2-day window that we would have gotten it at Celebration Anaheim had Celebration Anaheim happened. But it's not to say that stuff like that, like the unexpected, doesn't happen. I mean, I was lucky enough to be at Star Wars Celebration in 2016 in London, and everybody who was at the Rogue One panel was expecting, the debut of brand new footage from Rogue One, And it was really a bust in that regard. And the vibe around that was really confused and puzzled and surprised, and not necessarily in a pleasant way. Or like, what happened? Like, where is it? And come to find out that they were completely rewiring the third act at the time, basically. But we didn't find that out until much further down the line. So yes, the unexpected does happen from time to time, but I definitely think that Peter Sciretta is right, for 99.99% of what he's saying, that, the notion of someone dealing in rumors and leaks and spoilers, saying that something is going to happen, and then when it doesn't pan out, giving excuses for why it didn't pan out, or, basically kind of digging oneself deeper into a hole about rumors and leaks and spoilers and saying it's because of some other rumor and leak and whatnot. Like, for what it's worth, that is not the sort of thing that I'm trying to do here with Star Wars 7x7. And I know that I've actually talked about a couple of rumors that have broken with The Mandalorian and things that I've heard about it behind the scenes. And as of yet, the things that have been talked about, like for example the Ahsoka Tano thing, and me getting to hear from another source of a source that the rumors that were being reported are legitimate, like that stuff hasn't come to fruition yet, and so yeah, we're still kind of up in the air in that. But for what it's worth, I promise you that if you are a comparatively new listener to the show, that this is not the sort of thing that I trade in. And if you're a longtime listener to the show, then you already know that, and I've belabored a point, and I apologize. But it also has a bearing on stuff that actually came out yesterday, and I will get to that in a second, but I do just want to give a shout out to our friends at Audible, and once again thank them for letting me offer you a free audiobook download and a free 30-day trial by going to sw7x7.com/audible, because you're listening to this right now, so you might be interested in listening to a Star Wars story, and they've got hundreds of them and thousands of other titles if you want to break from Star Wars, because you can't just live in Star Wars alone. So one more time, it's sw7x7.com/audible, and thank you so much for supporting the show. And so here's how this whole conversation ties into new news. So yesterday, it was announced that The Mandalorian Season 2 will debut on October 30th, okay? So that's great news, and they shared key art, which is basically just, like one big promotional image, and it's very similar to the first season Mandalorian key art, with just the Mandalorian walking and this, desolate background behind him. This time he's walking, and it's a different time of day, and Baby Yoda's next to him. Isn't that sweet? So yes, that happened on the same day, and very quickly in and around the time that John Boyega's interview on GQ magazine was released, where he talks about the difficulties being a black actor in Hollywood in general and working on Star Wars in specific. And whereas, yes, Peter Sciretta talking about how media moments are very, planned out months in advance. 100% agree. I gotta say, the timing is just, it's just too close, and I just, I'm, like trying to take off my tinfoil conspiracy hat and, go, okay, yeah, it's just, unfortunate timing at best, and hopefully it's nothing worse than that. But I will highly recommend checking out the article, the interview, the cover story with John Boyega for GQ magazine, and I will link to it at the blog post for this show's episode at sw7x7.com. And that is going to do it for the show today. Thank you so much for joining me for it, as always. And may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
Star Wars 7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2020 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.